My name is Ava. I dated him to hurt my ex. I used an innocent man. I wanted my ex to suffer, but his best friend made me forget everything. This is my story. I am 24 years old. I live in a big city. The city is always noisy. There are many cars. There are many people. But my house is quiet. It is very quiet. Sometimes it is too quiet. I work in a small cafe. I wear a blue apron. I make coffee all day. I smile at people. I say, "Good morning." I say, "Have a nice day." I smile. But for a long time, my smile was not real. It was a fake smile. I was hiding a big pain in my heart. Today, I want to tell you about my pain. I want to tell you my big secret. Maybe you have felt this pain too. It is okay to feel sad. We all feel sad sometimes. You are not alone. 2 years ago, I met a man. His name was Mark. I loved Mark very much. He was tall. He was handsome. He had black hair. He was funny. He made me laugh every day. I thought we would get married. I gave him my whole heart. I gave him all my time. He was my whole world. But Mark was not a good man. I did not know this. Love makes you blind. You only see the good things. You do not see the bad things. One day, Mark came to my house. It was a dark day. It was raining. I remember the sound of the rain. It hit the window. Tap, tap, tap. The sky was gray. Mark walked inside. He did not take off his jacket. He did not smile. He looked at me. His face was cold. His eyes were cold. He said, "Ava, I am leaving you." Just like that, 4 little words. I am leaving you. My heart stopped. My body felt cold. I could not breathe. I looked at him. I thought it was a bad joke, but he did not laugh. "Why?" I asked. My voice was shaking. "Why are you leaving?" He looked away. He said he found someone else. He met another woman. He did not love me anymore. He walked out the door. He did not look back. He closed the door. Click. He was gone. I fell to the floor. I cried. I cried for many hours. I cried until my eyes hurt. I cried until my throat was dry. Have you ever cried like that? It is a terrible feeling. You feel so small. You feel so weak. For many days, I did not eat. The food tasted like paper. I did not sleep. The bed was too big. The bed was too cold. I looked at the ceiling. The world was completely dark. I felt so ugly. I thought, I am not good enough. Nobody will ever love me. But then the sadness stopped. A new feeling came. The sadness changed into anger. I was so angry. My blood felt hot. My hands made fists. I hated Mark. I hated him for breaking my heart. I wanted him to cry. I wanted him to lose sleep. I wanted him to feel my pain. I wanted him to suffer. Have you ever been so angry? It is a dark feeling. Anger is like a fire. It burns you inside. It makes you crazy. Anger is like poison. It eats your good heart. But I did not care. I wanted revenge. I wanted to win. Mark had a best friend. His name was Leo. Leo was very different from Mark. Mark was loud. Mark talked a lot. Leo was quiet. Leo listened. Mark liked big parties with loud music. Leo liked sitting in a chair and reading books. Leo was a very kind man. He had soft brown hair. He had warm brown eyes. He had a gentle smile. I knew a big secret. Leo liked me. I always knew it. Women always know these things. When Mark and I were together, Leo looked at me. He looked at me with kind eyes. He looked at me with sweet eyes. But Leo was a good friend to Mark. Leo never said anything to me. He never touched my hand. He respected Mark. He kept his distance. One night, I was sitting on my bed. It was very late. The clock said 2 in the morning. I was looking at my phone. I was looking at social media. I saw a picture. It was a picture of Mark. He was with his new girlfriend. They were at a restaurant. They were eating food. They were laughing. They looked so happy. My heart hurt. Then my blood boiled. The anger was so strong. The fire in my stomach was so hot. Then I had an idea. It was a bad idea. It was a very, very bad idea. I thought, what if I date Leo? Leo is Mark's best friend. They have been friends since they were little boys. If I date Leo, Mark will go crazy. Mark will feel angry. Mark will feel betrayed. Mark will finally suffer. I did not think about Leo. I did not think about his soft eyes. I did not think about his good heart. I did not think about his feelings. I only thought about my pain. I only thought about my revenge. I decided to use an innocent man. I decided to play a game with his heart. The next morning, I woke up early. The sun was shining. I got out of bed. I looked in the mirror. I said, "Today is the day." I opened my closet. I picked my best dress. It was a yellow dress. Yellow is a happy color. I wanted to look happy. I brushed my hair. I made my hair look nice. I put on red lipstick. I looked very pretty. I looked perfect. I walked out of my house. I walked down the street. I walked to the bookstore. Leo worked at the bookstore. He loved books. I opened the door of the bookstore. A little bell rang. Ding ding. The bookstore smelled good. It smelled like old paper. It smelled like coffee and dust. It was very quiet inside. I looked around. I saw Leo. He was standing near a tall shelf. He was putting thick books on the shelf. He was wearing a green sweater. He looked peaceful. I took a deep breath. I walked towards him. Leo heard my shoes. He turned around. He saw me. His eyes went very wide. He was so surprised. He dropped a heavy book. Bam! The book hit the floor. "Ava," he said. His voice was soft. "What are you doing here?" I smiled. It was a fake smile, but it looked real. "Hi, Leo," I said. My voice was sweet. "I was just walking around the city. I wanted to say hello to you. I wanted to see you." Leo looked confused, but he also looked happy. His cheeks turned a little pink. He walked closer to me. "How are you, Ava?" he asked softly. "I heard about Mark. I heard what he did. I am so sorry. You do not deserve that. He was so sweet. He cared about my feelings. He wanted me to be okay. But I was blind. My anger made me blind. I only saw my bad plan. I am fine, Leo, I said. I touched my hair. I am moving on. I am forgetting Mark. But I was wondering, would you like to get a coffee with me? Leo's eyes grew bigger. He blushed more. His face was very red now. With me, he asked. Really? Yes, I said. I smiled my sweetest smile. Just you and me. We can talk. Leo smiled back. It was a big, bright smile. I would love that, Ava. I finish work in 10 minutes. Can you wait? I can wait, I said. 10 minutes later, we left the bookstore. We walked down the street. We went to a cafe. We did not go to my cafe. We went to a different cafe near the big city park. We went inside. We sat at a small table by the window. The sun came through the window. It made the table warm. Leo bought me a large coffee. He bought me a chocolate cake. He was a gentleman. We started to talk. Well, Leo listened. I talked a lot. I talked about the weather. I talked about my job. He looked at me carefully. He looked at me like I was a famous movie star. It felt nice. Mark never looked at me like that. Mark always looked at his phone. Mark always watched television. But Leo looked into my eyes. He listened to every word I said. Then it was time for my plan. I took my phone from my bag. Leo, let's take a picture, I said. Leo smiled. Okay, he said. We leaned close together. His shoulder touched my shoulder. I held the phone up. We both smiled. Click. I took the picture. Leo looked so happy in the picture. I looked happy too. But my happiness was a lie. I opened my social media on my phone. I selected the picture. I typed a message. I wrote, "A perfect day with a perfect guy. So happy." I pressed the button. I posted the picture for the whole world to see. I knew Mark looked at my social media. I knew Mark would see the picture today. I knew it would make him crazy. We finished our coffee. We walked out of the cafe. Leo walked me to my house. Thank you for today, Ava, he said. I had a wonderful time. Me too, Leo, I lied. We should do it again. I would really like that, he said softly. He waved goodbye and walked away. I went inside my house. I locked the door. I sat on my sofa. I looked at the clock. I waited. 1 hour passed. The house was quiet. 2 hours passed. I looked at my phone. Nothing. 3 hours passed. Then suddenly my phone rang. Ring, ring, ring. I looked at the screen. The name on the screen was Mark. A big, dark smile came to my face. My plan was working. I felt a strange thrill in my stomach. I pressed the green button. I answered the phone. Hello, I said. My voice was very calm. What are you doing? Mark yelled. His voice was very loud. It hurt my ear. Are you crazy? I am fine, Mark, I said. Why are you yelling? Why are you with Leo? Mark shouted. I saw your picture online. You are drinking coffee with my best friend. Why? I felt so powerful. I felt like a queen. I was winning the game. We are just friends, Mark, I said slowly. We went out for coffee. Leo is a very nice man. He is much nicer than you. He is my best friend, Ava. Mark screamed. He was so angry. He was losing control. You cannot date him. You are doing this to make me mad. You left me, Mark, I said. My voice became cold. You broke my heart. You have a new girlfriend. You do not tell me what to do anymore. I am free. I can date anyone. I like Leo. Stay away from him, Mark yelled. I did not answer. I just hung up the phone. Click. The call ended. I sat on the sofa. I took a deep breath. I did it. I made him suffer. I made him angry. But then a strange thing happened. I looked around my empty room. The room was still quiet. I did not feel happy. I did not feel joyful. I felt empty. I felt cold inside. Have you ever got exactly what you wanted, but it felt wrong? That is how I felt. The revenge did not taste sweet. It tasted like ash. But I was stubborn. I did not want to stop. I wanted Mark to hurt more. I wanted him to lose his best friend. So the next day, I called Leo again. Hi, Leo, I said. Do you want to go to the movies tonight? Yes, Leo answered immediately. He sounded so excited. I will buy the tickets. We went to the movies. We sat in the dark theater. We ate sweet popcorn. The movie was a comedy. It was very funny. Leo laughed. His laugh was nice. It was a warm, deep sound. It made me smile. I found myself laughing too. Not a fake laugh. A real laugh. I forgot about my plan for a minute. I just enjoyed the movie. After the movie, we went for a walk. We walked in the park. The moon was big and white. The stars were shining in the sky. There were many tall trees. The leaves were green and smelled fresh. Leo talked about his life. He talked about his family. He told me he has a little sister. Her name is Mia. He loves her very much. He helps her with her homework. He told me about his big dreams. I want to open my own bookstore one day, Ava, he said. His eyes were shining in the moonlight. A place with big chairs and hot tea. A place where people can relax and read all day. That is my dream. He had so much passion. He was a man with a good soul. He looked at me. What about you, Ava? He asked softly. What is your dream? What do you want in life? I stopped walking. I looked at the grass. I did not know the answer. For a long time, my only dream was Mark. I wanted to marry Mark. Now, Mark was gone. I had no dream. I had nothing. I don't know, Leo, I said honestly. My voice was quiet. I feel lost. Leo stepped closer. He smiled a gentle smile. That is okay, Ava, he said. It is okay to feel lost. You have a lot of time to find your dream. You are a smart woman. You are an amazing person. You can do anything you want. His words hit my heart like a warm light. They were so kind. They were so encouraging. Nobody had ever spoken to me like that. Mark never asked about my dreams. Mark only talked about himself. I felt a big lump in my throat. I wanted to cry, but not from sadness. I wanted to cry from guilt. Leo was so good. He was so pure. And I was so bad. I was using him. I was a liar. I was playing a dirty trick on a beautiful person. I looked away. I could not look into his kind eyes. I felt sick. A week later, it was my birthday. I turned 25. I did not want to celebrate. I felt sad. I felt tired of my own lies. I woke up. I put on my blue apron. I went to work at my cafe. The sky was cloudy. The day was very slow. Not many people came in. I washed dirty coffee cups. I wiped the tables with a wet cloth. I looked at the clock. Time moved very slowly. Then the small bell on the cafe door rang. Ding ding. I looked up. It was Leo. He was standing in the doorway. He was wearing a nice blue shirt. He looked handsome. And he was holding something. He was holding a big bunch of flowers. They were big, bright, yellow flowers. They were sunflowers. Sunflowers are my absolute favorite flowers in the whole world. Leo walked to the counter. He had a very big, warm smile on his face. "Happy birthday, Ava," he said softly. He held out the beautiful flowers to me. I was shocked. I stood completely still. I looked at the flowers, then I looked at his face. "Leo," I whispered. How did you know?" "Know what?" he asked. "How did you know my favorite flowers are sunflowers?" I asked. My voice was shaking. Leo just smiled. "I pay attention, Ava," he said simply. "Last week, we walked past a flower shop. You stopped. You looked at the sunflowers for a long time. You smiled at them. So, I knew." A heavy weight dropped in my stomach. Mark never bought me sunflowers. In 2 years, Mark never bought me yellow flowers. Mark always bought me red roses. I told Mark many times, I like yellow sunflowers. But Mark never listened. Mark did not care. But Leo listened. Leo watched me. Leo paid attention to the small things that made me happy. I slowly reached out my hands. I took the flowers. They were so bright. They smelled like fresh summer air. I looked up at Leo. My heart did a very strange thing. It started to beat very fast. Thump, thump, thump. In that moment, I was not thinking about Mark. I did not care about Mark. I was only thinking about Leo. I was looking at his kind brown eyes. I was looking at his sweet smile. I felt a sudden, strong feeling. I wanted to hug him. So I did. I walked around the counter. I put my arms around him. I hugged him very tight. He felt surprised for a second, but then he hugged me back. His arms were strong. He smelled like coffee, old books, and clean rain. It was the best smell in the world. "Thank you, Leo," I whispered into his shirt. "Thank you so much." From that day, everything changed. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into a month. We spent all our free time together. We cooked dinner at my house. We bought tomatoes, garlic, and pasta. We made spaghetti. We made a big mess in my small kitchen. There was tomato sauce on the wall. There was flour on my nose. Leo laughed at me. I threw a piece of pasta at him. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. We listened to music in my living room. We listened to old, slow songs. We danced on the rug. We danced in our socks. I rested my head on his chest. I listened to his heartbeat. I felt alive again. The heavy gray clouds in my head were completely gone. The sun was shining in my heart. I was forgetting Mark. Mark was becoming just a shadow. Mark was just a bad memory from the past. Sometimes Mark called my phone. When I saw his name, I did not answer. I pressed the red button. Sometimes Mark sent angry text messages. I did not read them. I deleted them. I did not care about revenge anymore. Revenge was stupid. I only cared about Leo. I liked the sound of Leo's voice. I liked the way he smiled when he read a good book. I liked the way he held my hand when we walked in the street. His hand was always warm. When I was with him, I felt safe. I felt protected. Then one quiet Tuesday night, I realized a very big truth. I was sitting on my bed. I was brushing my hair. I looked at myself in the mirror. I was smiling. A real, genuine smile. I stopped brushing. I looked at my own eyes in the mirror. I love him, I whispered to the empty room. I love Leo. It was not a game anymore. It was not a bad plan. It was real love, very deep, very real love. But suddenly, the smile fell from my face. My stomach twisted into a hard knot. A dark, heavy cloud covered my happiness. The secret, the lie. I started dating him to hurt Mark. I used him. I treated him like a toy. What if Leo finds out? What if Mark tells him? What if Leo discovers the ugly truth? The thought made me feel physically sick. I ran to the bathroom. I splashed cold water on my face. I looked in the mirror again. Now I looked scared. I could not sleep that night. I rolled to the left. I rolled to the right. I looked at the red numbers on the clock. 1:00 a.m. 2:00 a.m. 3:00 a.m. I cried quietly in the dark. I wanted to tell him the truth. I wanted to say, Leo, I started this for a bad reason, but now I love you. But I was too scared. I was a coward. I was so afraid. If I tell him the truth, he will hate me. He is a good man. Good men hate liars. He will walk away. He will leave me forever. And I could not lose him. I needed him to breathe. So I kept my mouth shut. I hid the secret deep inside my chest. But secrets always come out. They always find the light. It was a Friday evening. Leo and I were at my house. We were sitting on the soft gray sofa. The television was on. We were watching a nature documentary about the ocean. I was leaning against him. My head was resting on his strong shoulder. He was playing with my hair softly. It was a perfect, peaceful evening. Suddenly, there was a very loud noise. Bang, bangs, bang. Someone was hitting my front door, very hard. I jumped up. My heart started to race fast. Leo looked surprised. "Who is that?" he asked. He started to stand up. "I will get the door." "No," I said quickly. I grabbed his arm. My hands were shaking. I felt cold sweat on my neck. I knew who it was. My bad feeling told me. But Leo gently pulled his arm away. "It is okay, Ava. Maybe someone needs help." Leo walked to the door. He turned the lock. He opened the door. It was Mark. Mark stood in the doorway. He looked terrible. His clothes were dirty. His hair was messy. He smelled like alcohol. His eyes were wide and wild. He looked very, very angry. "Mark," Leo said. His voice was full of shock. "What are you doing here? Are you okay?" Mark pushed Leo. He pushed him hard. Leo stumbled backward. Mark walked inside my house. He looked around. Then he looked at me. He pointed a shaking finger at my face. "Tell him," Mark yelled. His voice was so loud it hurt my ears. "Tell him the truth right now, Ava." My blood ran cold. My legs felt like jelly. "Mark, please," I whispered. My voice was very small. "Please get out of my house." "No," Mark screamed. He turned his head and looked at Leo. "You are an idiot, Leo. You are a blind, stupid idiot." Leo frowned. He stood up straight. "Mark, you need to leave. You are drunk. You are scaring Ava." "Scaring Ava?" Mark laughed. It was an ugly, mean laugh. "Ava is not scared. Ava is a monster. Do you think she loves you, Leo? Do you really think she loves you?" Leo looked at me, then back at Mark. "Yes, I do. We care about each other." Mark laughed harder. "She does not love you. She is using you." The room became very cold. The air felt heavy. "What are you talking about, Mark?" Leo asked. His voice was lower now, more serious. "She told me," Mark shouted. He stepped closer to Leo. "On the phone. After your first coffee date. She took that stupid picture and posted it just to make me angry. She dated you to get revenge on me. She wanted to hurt me. She used you, Leo. You are just a pawn in her sick little game." Silence, complete, heavy silence filled the room. The television was still showing the blue ocean, but there was no sound. I could only hear my own loud heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. Leo stopped moving. He stood completely still. Slowly, very slowly, he turned his head to look at me. His face was very pale. All the warm color was gone. The happy, gentle light in his brown eyes disappeared. His eyes looked empty. "Ava," he said, his voice cracked. It sounded broken. "Is it true?" I wanted to lie. I wanted to scream. "No, he is crazy. He is lying." I wanted to tell a new lie to save my life. But I looked into Leo's pure, honest eyes. I saw his soul. I could not lie to this beautiful man anymore. The truth was too heavy to carry. Tears immediately filled my eyes. They spilled over my eyelashes. They fell down my hot cheeks. "Leo," I started. I took one step forward. I reached out my shaking hand. "Is it true?" he asked again. His voice was a little louder. It was full of pain, deep, sharp pain. I closed my crying eyes. I nodded my head slowly, up and down. "Yes," I whispered. My voice broke. "In the beginning, yes, it was true." Leo gasped. It sounded like someone punched him in the stomach. He took a step backward, away from me. His face twisted in agony. "I trusted you," he said softly. The words were like sharp knives. "I trusted you, Ava. I opened my heart to you. I loved you. And you just used me. You looked into my eyes and lied every single day. Just to hurt him." "No, please, Leo. You must listen to me," I cried out loud. Tears were streaming down my face. I could not see clearly. That was only in the beginning. I was stupid. I was angry. But it changed. I swear to you, it changed. I love you now. I love you so much. "Don't," Leo said. He held up his hand. He did not want me to come closer. "Do not say that word. Do not say you love me. It makes me feel sick." Everything was a lie. The coffee, the movies, the walks, all a lie. "It is not a lie now," I sobbed. I fell to my knees on the floor. I was crying so hard my chest hurt. "Please, Leo, do not leave me." Mark started to laugh again. He stood by the door, laughing at my pain. "See, Leo, I told you, she is trash." Leo turned his head slowly. He looked at Mark. Leo's eyes were full of disgust. "You are both terrible," Leo said quietly. "You deserve each other." Leo turned around. He walked to the door. He did not look back at me. He walked out into the dark night. He pulled the door shut. Clicking. That quiet sound was the loudest sound I ever heard. It was the sound of my heart breaking into a million tiny pieces. I stayed on the floor. I looked at Mark. The sadness was big, but a new anger rose up. Not the old revenge anger. Just pure, clean anger at this bad man who ruined everything. I stood up. I wiped the tears from my face. My eyes were burning. "Get out," I screamed at Mark. "Get out of my house right now." Mark stopped laughing. He looked surprised. I said, "Get out," I screamed louder. I grabbed a book from the table and threw it at him. It hit the wall near his head. "Get out of my life. Never, ever come back here." Mark saw the wild fire in my eyes. He realized I was not playing. He turned around and ran out the door quickly. I was alone, completely alone. I fell back onto the sofa. I buried my face in a pillow. I cried. I cried louder and harder than the day Mark left me. Because this time, I could not blame anyone else. This time, it was my fault. I ruined my own happiness. I broke a good man's beautiful heart. My own selfish lies destroyed the best thing in my life. Have you ever ruined something truly beautiful? It is the heaviest feeling in the world. It crushes you. For 2 long weeks, I was a ghost. I was not alive. I was just breathing. I woke up. I put on my blue uniform. I went to work. I did not smile at the customers. I just made coffee in silence. I came home. I sat in the dark. I did not eat. I lost weight. My clothes felt big. Everything in the world reminded me of Leo. When I smelled coffee, I remembered our first date. When I saw the sun, I remembered his yellow flowers. When I saw a book, my heart physically hurt in my chest. My quiet house was empty without his warm laugh. It was a prison. I tried to contact him. I sent him many text messages. Leo, please talk to me. Leo, I am so sorry. Leo, I cannot live without you. I love you. He never answered. I called his phone. It always went straight to voicemail. Beep, leave a message. I left crying messages. He never called back. One night, I was sitting on the floor. I was looking at the empty wall. I realized something very important. Saying I am sorry on a phone is easy. It is not enough. Words are cheap. When you break someone's trust, you have to work hard to fix it. You have to show them you are sorry. You cannot just wait and cry. You have to take action. You have to prove you have changed. I stood up. I walked to my small writing desk. I turned on the lamp. I took out a clean, white piece of paper. I took my favorite blue pen. I sat down, and I began to write a letter. It took me 4 hours to write it. I cried while I wrote. My tears fell on the paper and made the blue ink messy. But I kept writing. I wrote down everything, the whole truth. I did not hide any ugly details. I started from the day Mark left me. I explained the dark, heavy anger in my broken heart. I confessed my stupid, ugly plan to use him. I told him how bad I was. Then I wrote about the change. I wrote about the walk in the park under the moon. I wrote about his dreams of the bookstore. I wrote about the day he brought me the yellow sunflowers. I told him how my heart changed. I explained how the dirty seed of revenge died, and a pure, beautiful flower of real love grew in its place. I wrote, Leo, I do not ask you to come back to me. I know I do not deserve you. I am a bad person who made a terrible mistake. But I need you to know one thing before you forget me forever. The ending was not a lie. The love I have for you right now is the most real thing I have ever felt. You saved me from my own darkness. I am so sorry I brought darkness to you. I love you. Ava. I folded the paper carefully. I put it in a white envelope. I wrote Leo on the outside. The next morning, the sky was bright blue. I did not go to the cafe. I walked directly to the bookstore. My legs felt very heavy, like they were made of stone. My stomach was twisting and turning. I felt sick. I arrived at the bookstore. I stood outside on the sidewalk. I looked through the big glass window. I saw Leo. He was standing behind the counter. He was organizing some pens. My heart broke again. He looked so tired. He had dark circles under his eyes. He did not have his bright, happy smile. He looked very sad. And I knew I put that sadness on his face. I took a deep breath. I pushed the door open. The little bell rang. Ding ding. Leo looked up quickly. When he saw me, his entire body froze. He stopped breathing. He stared at me with wide, guarded eyes. I did not walk close to him. I stayed near the door. I did not want to push him. I walked a few steps to the edge of the counter. My hand was shaking violently. I slowly put the white envelope on the wood. I looked at him. My eyes were full of tears. "I am not here to make you talk to me," I said softly. My voice was very weak. "I am not asking you to take me back, Leo. I know I ruined everything." Leo did not say a word. He just stared at the envelope. I needed you to know the whole truth," I whispered. "Please just read it when you are ready. Goodbye, Leo." I turned around quickly. I walked out the door. I did not look back. I walked down the street fast. I felt a small bit of relief, but mostly I just felt empty. I had to let him go. I had to give him time and space. Waiting is the hardest thing in the human experience. Time moves like thick honey. A single hour feels like a long day. A day feels like a whole year. I waited. I prayed to God every night. I hoped with all my broken heart. I went back to work at my cafe. I tried to be a better person. I wanted to be the good woman Leo thought I was. I helped an old lady carry her bags. I smiled a real smile at a sad customer. I wanted to put good energy into the world to balance my bad mistakes. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 5 days passed. Nothing, no call, no text. I started to accept the reality. I started to lose hope. I thought to myself, he read it. But he cannot forgive me. The pain is too big. And that is okay. You deserve this, Ava. You must live with the consequences of your bad choices. This is part of growing up. You make your bed, and you must sleep in it. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon. Exactly like the day Mark left me so long ago. The rain hit the big cafe window. Tap, tap, tap. The sky was dark gray. The cafe was completely empty. No customers. It was very quiet. I was standing behind the counter. I had a white towel in my hand. I was cleaning the silver espresso machine. I was rubbing it slowly, lost in my sad thoughts. Suddenly, I heard the heavy door open. The little bell rang loudly in the quiet room. Ding ding. "We are closing in 10 minutes, I said loudly, without looking up from the machine. "Can I still get a hot coffee?" a deep voice asked. I froze completely. The towel dropped from my hand. It fell to the floor. I knew that voice. I knew that voice better than my own name. I slowly turned around. I looked up. It was Leo. He was standing near the door. He was wearing a yellow raincoat. His brown hair was wet from the rain. Small drops of water were falling from his face. He stood there, just looking at me. His brown eyes were very deep, very serious, and very intense. "Leo," I breathed. It was just a whisper. I could not find my voice. He walked slowly toward the counter. He stopped right in front of me. He reached his hand into his coat pocket. He pulled out the white envelope. He took out the letter. The paper was very wrinkled. The edges were soft. I could see he had folded and unfolded it many, many times. He had read it over and over again. He put the letter on the counter between us. "I read your letter, Ava," he said. His voice was quiet, but strong. Tears immediately filled my eyes. They spilled over and ran down my face. I could not stop them. "I am so sorry, Leo," I cried softly. "I am so sorry." Leo took a slow, deep breath. He looked down at his hands, then back up at my face. "It hurt, Ava," he said honestly. "It hurt me more than anything in my entire life. Knowing I was just a stupid joke to you. Knowing I was a tool you used to hurt Mark. It destroyed my heart. You are never a joke," I pleaded quickly. I stepped closer to the counter. "Never, Leo. In the very beginning, I was foolish and angry and blind. I was a terrible person. But I swear on my life, from the first time we laughed in the cinema, it stopped being a game. You made me forget Mark completely. You made me forget my stupid anger. You made me forget everything in the world but you." Leo watched my face very carefully. He looked into my crying eyes. He was searching my soul for a lie. He was looking for the truth. He saw the truth. The hard lines on his face began to soften. The coldness in his eyes began to melt away. "The days are very dark without you, Ava," he said softly. His voice shook a little. I wiped a tear from my cheek. "My world is completely black without you, Leo. I thought about never speaking to you again," he admitted. He looked down at the letter. "I was so angry, but I kept reading your words, and I felt them here." He pointed to his chest, over his heart. "I believe your letter. I believe your love is real now." He reached his hand across the cold counter. He slowly opened his fingers. I did not hesitate. I reached out and put my hand in his. His hand was so warm. It was strong and safe. A tear fell from my chin and landed exactly on our joined hands. "Can we start over?" he asked quietly. He squeezed my hand gently. "No Mark, no dark past, no more secrets, no more lies, just Leo and Ava." I nodded my head very fast. I smiled through my happy tears. "Yes. Oh, yes, Leo. Please, just Leo and Ava. Forever." He smiled. It was a small smile at first, but then it grew bigger and brighter. The beautiful, warm light came back into his brown eyes. The sun was finally shining again. We started over. It was not easy right away. Love is not always a magic spell that fixes everything instantly. We had to build our trust again from the bottom. Trust is exactly like a beautiful glass vase. When you drop it, it shatters into pieces. You can use strong glue to put it back together. You can make it whole again. But if you look closely, you can still see the cracks in the glass. You have to handle the vase very, very carefully so it does not break again. I handled Leo's heart very carefully. Every single day, I showed him my true love. I never kept a secret from him again. I was always honest. I never saw Mark or spoke to Mark ever again. I heard from a friend that Mark moved to a different city far away. I did not care. Mark was just a hard lesson I had to learn in life. Leo and I grew much closer. The cracks in our glass vase became beautiful parts of our story. Our love became stronger. It was stronger than any silly lie. It was stronger than any dark anger. Now it has been 3 full years. 3 beautiful, happy years together. Leo's big dream came true. He saved his money, and he opened his very own bookstore last month. It is a wonderful place. It has big, soft chairs. It smells like fresh hot tea and new paper. I quit my job at the cafe. Now, I work at the bookstore with him every day. We are surrounded by thousands of stories and by our own deep love. I painted big, bright yellow sunflowers on the walls of the bookstore. Leo smiles his beautiful smile every single time he looks at them. I wanted to sit down and tell you this long story for a very important reason. Sometimes, in this difficult life, pain makes us do terrible things. When our heart is broken by someone we trust, we feel crazy. We want to break someone else's heart to make things equal. We think revenge will make us feel powerful. We think making someone else suffer will somehow magically heal our own deep pain. But listen to me carefully. It is a big lie. Revenge is a dangerous poison. It does not heal your wounds. It only makes you sick in your soul. It makes you blind to the wonderful, good things standing right in front of your face. I almost lost the best, most beautiful thing in my entire life because I was holding tightly onto stupid anger. I almost threw away my perfect future for a dirty past. Please do not use innocent people. Do not play games with human hearts. A heart is a very fragile thing. It is easily broken. If you are hurting right now, if someone broke your heart today, it is okay. Let it hurt. It is normal. Go to your room and cry. Cry a lot. Shout loudly into your soft pillow. But please, do not go out and hurt someone else. Just wait. Let time pass. Time is a good doctor. The dark anger will slowly go away. The sharp pain will fade into a quiet memory. And remember this important lesson. You are human. You can make a terrible mistake. You can be the bad person in a chapter of your story. But the book is not finished. You can change. You can say you are genuinely sorry. You can work very hard to fix your mistakes. You can become a much better person tomorrow. Love is incredibly powerful. True, honest love can wash away the ugliest lies. True love makes you completely forget the painful past, and it makes you look forward to a bright, sunny future. I dated a man to hurt my ex. I did a very bad thing, but true love stepped in and saved me from myself. Keep your heart open to the world. Be totally honest with the people around you. Be kind, even when you are hurting. You deserve true happiness, You really do. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for listening to my story. Keep going, my friend. Your beautiful days are coming soon.